Yeah, I enjoy it.
So, Stephen, you look happy. You're walking right now, and you're going to probably reach at least 2,700 miles with all the problems you've had. What have you learned from it, and how is the experience going otherwise?
Experience is really happy. I think I've found what I need to do to get myself to the end of the race and feel good about it, and to achieve, as you mentioned, to be able to get to possibly that 2,700 mile mark, which I find is, for me, a great reward, despite all the issues and adversities I've had in and out of this race. Learning wise, basically everything feels really good. I would love to run at the moment, but with all my feet issues that I've had, I know that at the moment walking is what's best for them.
How are you?
Good.
Okay. There's one of the ladies who takes care of the parks.
They're lovely. I know at the moment, for my feet, with all the issues I had, walking at the moment is the only way I can get myself through these last few days, and maybe save for a nice day of running on the last day. But I've learned a lot from going through this race and understanding what I've been through, that it's very important to know how to go into a race with the right stuff. If I can prevent my feet issues, I know from that I would have an amazing race. Everything else is really good. I've gone through all the other little issues. You're able to run through all of them. Feet issues, once they start to fall apart, that's something you want to try and prevent and not to try and cure afterwards. I feel probably my biggest learning was having the right shoes to start with. For me, I thought I knew what the right shoes were. I've never really experimented much in my life between different pairs of shoes, like brands. So I came into this thinking that what I normally run in would be fine, and persevering through probably slightly the wrong sizes and the wrong widths. That's what started my feet issues, and basically I should have listened to that earlier on and looked at changing. And the way I could see that is my last 2 weeks of running, I'm actually not even in my original shoes anymore. So I started with pocket shoes, which I've realised just aren't wide enough for my feet. I finished off now with ultra shoes and topos. The topo is very similar to the pockers with regards to cushioning, but a lot wider in the toe box.
Oh, they are. Okay.
And the ultras are also really wide in the toe box.
Yeah,
that I have found is probably where my feet issue started, by having the front of my feet squashed for so long.
Just passing another walker there.
Yeah, passing the bar shaft, beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can go into my next race and hopefully come back and be able to complete this race again and come in with a lot more experience.
Yeah, and it seemed like you had a lot of energy and you had a lot of fitness and you had everything it takes. But when one thing goes wrong, on a major level, like it was with you, and most people would probably give up, you took the required rest and treatment, and you just kept on going. And the 2,700 miles is like 2 marathons a day for 52 days, and you had days off and a lot of problems with your feet. That's an incredible achievement. So you must be happy.
I'm really happy that I was still able to achieve this. Having to be taken off course for 4 days, back on day 22. The finish just seemed so far away. It didn't feel like it was going to be possible. So to know that I've done over 2,200 kilometres since I got taken off course, and that was with maintaining and trying to manage all my feet issues. I'm really happy to know that I was able to still have that energy and that drive to get to the end, despite having what I've had to deal with on my feet. So if I could somehow come into my next race with a bit more experience in looking after my feet, I think I could have a really good race.
And one other question, you've had some really good handlers, and now your parents were doing it, and it's not easy for the handlers and to understand what you're going through and to try to explain what you need and to decipher what the problems are. Do you think the handlers have actually, of course, they've helped you, but do you think they've saved you a lot of time and helped you in most ways that you expected? Or was it sometimes a difficult thing in making the handlers understand what you're going through, what your helpers, especially your parents? That must be sometimes difficult.
Oh, most definitely. It's definitely lots of learnings with the helpers and the handlers. At the end of the day, overall, I believe that without my helpers, I would not be able to get this far. They've really supported me, and once we get a nice little system going, I think that's what's really helped me get through. I have a feeling that if I didn't have them here, them helping me keep the right motivation was paramount, especially through my little dark times with my really bad feet issues. But yeah, the helpers are fantastic, and it was a good learning curve with the helpers. And I've had 3 different sets: one at the start, Fiona in the middle, my parents at the end. And it's made me realise that everyone's different, and we work together with each and every one of them to work out a nice system. And it's worked very well for me and got me this far, which is fantastic.
And I think it was a great experience for them, not only learning, but just being here, making friends with them, having them be part of the family, so to speak, this kind of family of runners and helpers and counters and directors. I mean, this race is something very special. And I would think that all the racing and race managing that you've done, how do you find this race in terms of its uniqueness? How different is it from what you've experienced?
This race is just a massive community. It's home. It's your family, and you can see that it's completely different to any other race I've ever been in. And I feel what this race is, the positive energy that comes out of this race, is what makes you want to keep going through whatever adversities that you are dealing with on any given day, no matter how down or how bad you're feeling. At no point does this race ever make you want to feel like you want to quit. All you want to do is just keep going, and you want to do it for the community, for the race, for the helpers, and for all the other runners that are out there.
And the dogs.
Dogs as well, which are all part of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes this race so unique to everything else. And that's what's kept me going, is just having this beautiful community.
And there's Dad, one of your great helpers.
Thank you very much.
We had a great talk. There's the current standing. Susan will finish. Shield will finish. Wang Lan, who we call Nina, is having a hard time. She's had to rest her slight injury to the back of her leg, and she probably won't finish the whole mileage, but I'm sure she'll break 3,000. And we're rooting for her. She's happy to stay out here, just as the other runners are. Stephen Kaninika, Nando Hari, Nabasha. They'll go to the end of 52 days and enjoy the race as much as they could, not worrying about the miles.